Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of Trends In. This time we're gonna talk about the health and safety space. And I've invited an expert in this space who's recruiting in my team actually. Meggan, really welcome to the next episode. Would you mind sharing your views on the current market?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me here, Marcel. So yeah, definitely in the last 3 years, the last few years, I've definitely noticed there has been events that has impacted on the EHS space. So definitely in recent times, it has been COVID, we've Brexit, new technologies, and the environment. And this has had an impact on the EHS space. And what we've definitely seen in the last especially the last 18 months, new regulations have been, I suppose, implemented, which means that there's more demand for EHS, which also means there's more workload for the EHS professional. So the market is definitely buoyant, but there is challenges, I think, that come with that. So the challenges that I'm definitely seeing in the marketplace is the demand is definitely higher than the supply, especially for really specialized EHS. I'm also finding that candidates that are trying to move into the likes of the medical devices and pharmaceutical to be quite challenging. And I suppose that just takes a bit of time, but it is frustrating for candidates. I am seeing that I suppose EHS professionals that are well established within companies aren't looking to do the move right now, especially with the current circumstances. So yeah, there's been a lot of change and there's been a lot of movement within the last 18 months in EHS. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And market, in my opinion, seems to be very driven by candidates.
Yeah.
And what do you think is their preference? Is it more contracting or is it more permanent jobs?
Yeah, look, I mean, a contract and permanent are great. It just depends on what you're actually looking for. I suppose I'm finding candidates that want to move into different EHS spaces would be more open to taking a potentially a 6-month contract. And I'm seeing, I suppose, there's a bit more flexibility with companies now, which is great to see. I suppose the movement for some candidates into construction, into an EHS, medical device or pharmaceutical space can be quite challenging. But now I'm actually seeing that companies are opening up to seeing these type of candidates, which is great. So it does depend. It depends on your preference, what you're looking for out of your career. But I am seeing the move for sure for candidates taking the short-term contracts.
Okay, brilliant. And how would that resonate with your current open positions in this space?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a mix of contract and permanent roles, more so permanent. So yeah, I mean, there is that opportunity for both for candidates.
Okay, great. You've mentioned COVID at the very start. Do you still see some impact in that space?
Yeah, for sure. I personally think that it's actually raised the profile of EHS and how important it is for these rules and regulations to be implemented in businesses. I think the last 18 months, companies have really are really wanting to obviously adhere to this, but making sure that they're compliant and that I suppose that their employees are safe as well on site. And actually, there's that extra bit of responsibility for the EHS professionals, because not only do they now have to make sure that they're on site, they're compliant and within the rules and regulations, but this working from home is now an option, and companies are offering this working from home, and they're kind of, I suppose, expecting the EHS to ensure that the employees have a respect for its safety when they're working from home. So there is that extra responsibility, and COVID has definitely heightened. It's definitely heightened our own health and wellness. And I suppose when employees come back into the workplace, that these EHS professionals now have that extra responsibility to provide this onboarding, not so much or onboarding, but health and safety training, so that they feel safe when they return back to the workplace. So I mean, I have seen a rise in roles within the last 18 months for the EHS professionals, and it's a great time for them to move because there is such a demand out there. So yeah, I mean, there has been pluses and negatives to it with the extra responsibility that they have to now take on, but it's definitely the right time for people to move.
Yeah. Like the health and safety space, I think that a lot of the people have to be actually on site. So do you think that the companies will, let's say, allow the recruitment process itself to be more remote at the moment, or what do you see with regards to the recruitment, the interviews themselves?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think an EHS role, ideally, clients are looking for candidates to be on site. It is a more on-site type role. Now I am seeing that there could be an opportunity for maybe potentially working 1 or 2 days from home, but more so clients are looking for candidates that can be on site. Ideally, it's not really a working from home type role, you know?
Yeah. And is the recruitment process itself more remote as well, or is like the second round right now being more back on site, or what do you see there?
Yeah, definitely. The initial interview is through the Microsoft Teams. We're seeing that some clients are looking to have these the candidates on site, I suppose, to do that site walk, to have a look on site, what would entail in the job. And I think that's really important. I think this virtual reality is great until I suppose you really need to see what the job entails. So there is a mixture of online for first round, and then second round would be on site.
Okay, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. So what will be your, I don't know, 2, 3 hottest jobs at the moment, and how people could reach you to talk about those?
Yeah, for sure. I have a EHS officer role, that is a permanent role for one of the leading consultants in Cork. So I'd be definitely interested in hearing candidates that have 2+ years experience. So that would be one of my hot roles. And I also have an EHS projects coordinator role. This is also a very exciting position. It's a new role that's been created. So I'm looking for someone that has 2+ years experience. Estimation experience would be a plus in this role, but there's a huge training program that's going to be implemented for the right type of candidate. And I have plenty more contract and permanent roles. So if you are looking to move into a different EHS space, or you're just looking to move jobs, please do get in contact with me. My number is 086 160 5367.
Perfect, Meggan. Really appreciate you chatting with me today. Look, all the best, and have a great day. Yeah.
Thank you, Marcel.